Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been insane. The amount of love that you have given to my humble endeavor over here has been absolutely amazing. So, above and beyond anything else, just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The V14 is doing absolutely amazing. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. But the weather in Florida has not been super duper good for 360 cameras, especially on the trails. Since our trails are largely tree covered, there's a lot of canopy over them. So the lighting just hasn't been it. So that said, this video is going to be just a little bit different. I haven't been able to like hit it the way that I want to. But at the end, I do smash up this lovely, lovely trail that is off of this kind of abandoned sort of golf course. It's just not being used right now. So I had no problem ripping, skipping, and running all the way through it. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into EUC. It's just come up a lot in the past couple of days, and whenever I bring it up to people in terms of getting them into riding, it always seems to be a point that matters. It really does. Because for me, it actually reinvigorated my whole zest and zeal for life in just such a big way. So, run it back about 2.5 years ago or so, uh, towards the middle of 2021, maybe the beginning of 2021. I know it hasn't been that long. There's a lot of you out there that have been riding a whole lot longer than me, but for me, that's when it was. And we're right there, smack dab, in the middle of the whole COVID lockdown and all that. And, you know, I live in Florida, so it wasn't as aggressive as it was for some people. At that time, I had just started doing personal training. And so gyms were a no go. I literally just got my education in this stuff, and gyms were a no go. So I had nowhere to go. I ended up starting my own business, and that was a little while before this. So, fast forwarding to the fact that I had my own little personal training business for a little while, and I was going to see people one on one. And I went from seeing the roads populated, and I think we all did, to seeing the roads just completely unpopulated and this like zombie kind of apocalypse air. Like, this is what it would look like, kind of, if if zombies started, doing their thing. Like, it would just be empty until the hordes came after you, right? Um, and that's what it felt like. And if you watch the TV at all, there is just all of this negativity, no matter what. You just couldn't find a breath of fresh air. You couldn't find any sort of solace. And people were wearing their masks and nobody was hugging. And it just made a bunch of people that already felt alone feel even more alone. And for me, this was especially the case. And I know everybody's going to say for them it's especially the case. But I don't have family where I'm at. I live, my roommate, but my roommate was like scared to death. So, like, he uber isolated, and it just was, you know, it was uncomfortable. Like, I just felt very much alone. And I think a lot of you can relate. And you didn't know what was behind the mask. You didn't see smiles anymore. All you saw was fear in everybody's eyes. And this was kind of unanimous. And it sucked. It really, really, really sucked. I still hugged people who would hug, you know. I respectfully wore, the mask as people wanted me to around them. But that's not really what this is about. This is about the fact that I was so petrified by this whole incident that I just didn't even want to leave my house anymore. I didn't want to bother anybody. I didn't want to be bothered. I was scared to run errands. I didn't want to go to the grocery store anymore. The lines back and forward that told you which way to go, and it was just all so freaking surreal. Just plastic walls up everywhere, and I did not want to leave my house. It was sad. But as things started to calm down a little bit more, as things started to chill out here in Florida, they did pretty quick. People didn't. not so much where I live. But things did calm down. And as going to the gas station became somewhat of a normal thought again, I didn't want to go. Even though people were starting to go back outside, I found that I didn't want to leave my house. I would go outside to train my clients at the park. And after that, I would just go right back home. And it wasn't healthy. I felt my mental state suffering. I never really was one to drink a lot, but I was drinking more. Certainly, I was drinking more. And I started scratching at like the walls of my mind. And inside of the walls of my mind, I found myself on YouTube, thinking back through weird animes that I had seen. And, you know, I wanted a one-wheel motorcycle. I don't know why. I was thinking about Akira. I was thinking about Teneda. I was thinking about that red motorcycle. And I wanted a one-wheel motorcycle so bad. And so I just started looking online. I was like, sure, we're in the 2020s. There's got to be a one-wheeled motorcycle floating around there somewhere. And I ended up finding a couple. And there was one that was being reviewed. I think it was like an S1000 or something like that. It was being reviewed by these skater guys on YouTube. And they took it up and down inside of this little skate park place, and they were all just busting on it. And they really didn't have a super duper great time on it. But it looked fascinating, it looked fun, and it looked like something that would get me outside. But I don't know. I was just apprehensive about it. I didn't feel super duper amazing about the whole notion. So what I does is I look through the comments, and I'm just reading through the comments as we do on YouTube, and I see this thing pop up over and over. Uke. This thing is stupid. Get yourself a uke. This thing is stupid. Ukes are so much faster and more nimble. They can handle better. You'll kill yourself on this thing. Get yourself a uke. Just all of these comments. And so I look up a uke. At this point, if you don't know what I'm referring to, this is an EUC. So I look up EUC. And holy crap, my whole mind was blown. And I just was on fire for it, right? Like we tend to get, if you're into EUCs, you've gone through this phase. I know you've gone through this phase where I'm not alone in this, where you're just looking up and taking in all of the information that you can. And this V8 was the EUC that everybody had to use to begin on, and it was so durable, and I saw it go through so many falls and spills and everything, and this thing just awesome beginner. So I began searching my local Facebook marketplace, and sure enough, give it about 2 weeks of looking, and I found one for $500. It was out in Daytona. And I asked a friend, Colton, to take me out there. So we go out there, and I get this $500 EUC, this V8. The owner says, no, don't try it in front of me. He's very apprehensive. His son had tried it. Apparently, it was a horrible situation. He could not figure it out. And so he was just trying to sell it to get rid of it and, just to get it out of his sight. And so I took the thing, went home. I kid you not, guys. I kid you not. I turned it on, I stepped on it, and I rolled away. And that was it. Literally, I turned on my first time, I turned it on, I stepped on it, and I rolled away. It was not like I was a professional, but I just was able to ride away. And this thing just completely changed my whole life. It took me to the gas station. That was for sure. And I was like, wait. This little bitty thing just took me to the gas station. There's no way in the world that this little tiny wheel with, I can't tell where the heck they've hid the batteries are. No, this is impossible. So I was like, okay, I see you. What about a trail? So I hop on a little dirt path. And sure enough, man, this little V8 is like eating up little bits of roots and going over little bumps and taking me through the trails. I went to our local mountain bike park. Guys, I kid you not. This is with no pads.
And I took it to the mountain bike park. And I rode a V8 through San Francisco. And I even passed a couple mountain bikers going uphill. It was phenomenal. So that's out here in Gainesville. There's a little mountain bike park called San Francisco. And yeah, man, that's totally what I did. And it was absolutely awesome. And it was absolutely fun. 10 out of 10. I would highly recommend that V8 as an introductory wheel. It just it was something that completely changed my whole life. Um, and that would bring about my purchasing of the EXN. When I purchased the EXN at that time, I was still drinking alcohol. I would only have it like a couple times a week, um, but I would look forward to it. I would have a couple of margaritas at this place called Gator's Dockside. And I remember I had this museum opening thing that I wanted to go to. It was at a hotel called Hotel Indigo, and I went to this little museum opening thing, and holy crap! I had a friend of mine was at the bar in there, and I hadn't seen this dude for like 7 years or something, and we knew each other through music. And do you know what friends do for friends when they are at the bar and you are there and you haven't seen them for that long? Well, you don't pay for a lot of what's poured. I'm going to just put it to you that way. Me and all my wonderful, blissful, you know, genius decided that lights nor armor went well with my three-piece suit that evening. I did wear a helmet. So I'm in this black on black suit on my black EUC. Brilliant, guys, just effing brilliant. And by the time I leave that place, I don't even remember leaving that place. All I remember is a heavy pressure on my hip. And I remember waking up on my sofa bed in my bedroom, and I remember turning on water, and then I remember waking up to the house being flooded. And I don't know how, when I stepped down onto the ground, I did not get electrocuted by the things that were plugged in, but by the grace of God, when I put my feet down, I did not get electrocuted. Um, I this was one of the last times that I ever drank, guys. This is one of the last times that I ever drank. It it occurred to me that I was going to kill myself, and I could either ride this wheel at any point in time with clarity of mind, or I could drink and be ready to fall, tumble, hurt myself, hurt somebody else. When I tell you that it was like a softball or like a volleyball in my hip and I couldn't bend at the waist, I mean, it's a miracle I did not break my hip. Anyway, guys, when thinking about how long, you spend in a car, you know, looking for a parking spot or spending a car in traffic, you know, like the average, I guess, is something like 18 days, which works out to be 2 or 3 years over your lifetime, just looking or just being in your car for traffic. And those are dead years. You're not really doing a whole lot when you're in that car. You're just commuting. The first couple times you drive a new car, it's kind of neat. But once you get the pattern down and you're stuck in traffic and that's all it is, it's mundane, and it tends to be a very, very unhappy experience. So that's 2 to 3 years of your life, if you live to 60, spent that way. Oh, wait, pause. Yo, this is Old Faithful. This tree right here is 300 plus years old, guys. You know, this is what I traded in my commute for. I'm talking about my commute because I'm on my commute, okay? This is my morning commute to work, all right? I don't know what the average person experiences on their morning commute, but my morning commute is completely different every single day. It is the stuff of exploration. It is the stuff of intrigue. It is the stuff of legend. It is amazing and inspiring every single day. So, what did I decide to do? I decided to say, hey, I want to reclaim 2 to 3 years of my life. I don't want to be stuck in that box looking for parking spots for what amounts to like 15, 20 minutes a day, 17 some odd hours a year. I want to have fun. I want to experience life. We have tons of boxes. We have our houses are boxes, but those are nice boxes. We enjoy those boxes. They have nice walls. They keep us safe and stuff, right? So we don't mind that box as much. But it's still an anchor. It locks you to a singular space, and that is just your box. And now it's your box. And your car, what about that? That's your box. That's your box, right? And then your perspectives. Who are you? Your angles on who you are. Those are also your boxes. These mental boxes that we put ourselves in. I am a favorite ones these days: conservative. I am a liberal. I am a Democrat. I am a Republican. I am so many boxes, guys. So many boxes. And eventually we take all of these boxes and then we put those boxes together, and then we take our body and we put ourselves in a little box called a coffin. And then that's the box that we live in for eternity until, the next go over of fossil fuel, and then we're just fossil fuel. Okay? So all of this was very present in my mind. And I said, you know what? I'm good, bro. I'm absolutely good. I looked at my Mercedes SUV, and I looked at my EUC, and I looked at the roads, and I looked at my EUC, and I said, you know what? I'm over it. I parked it. Eventually I sold it. The Mercedes SUV, that is. Okay? Like, I decided to reclaim my life. And now I don't know what it did for me. I really can't tell you the chemical processes. There's some studies on forward ambulation and about the effects of forward ambulation on the swelling of the amygdala, and how it reduces the impact stress of the way that you perceive the world, and how the world it feels like it's threatening you. You don't feel it as much. Maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I get outside all of the time, that I feel the fresh air, that I taste the fresh air, that I feel alive and invigorated as a human every single day. From the moment that I wake up, when I go to the gas station if I need to, and I go to maybe get some coffee, But if I go and if I need to, the first thing that I do is I feel alive. I feel invigorated. I don't need the alcohol. It's not a thing anymore. It hasn't been a thing for like 2.5 years. There's not a drink that I want to go back to, because there's always a trail that I'm looking forward to. There's always a ride that I'm looking forward to. If somebody says, hey, you want to go? Or if I say in my mind, hey, let's go. If I watch a video by Coogee or by Wrongway or by Chooch or by any of the dudes freshly charged now, if I watch any of these videos and I say, man, I want to get it. I want to go jumping. I want to go riding these trails with these incredibly tight margins that I might hit a tree. I want to, and for me, it's worth it. So I said goodbye to my boxes, right? I said goodbye to the alcohol, and I said hello to being outside. I was like, I could either serve this car, because I have to contribute time by doing this insurance thing. I have to contribute time doing this gas thing. I have to pay for this thing. There's so many things. And then if I get a nice new one, this car, then I'm really stressed out whenever I park it, because I'm worried if somebody's going to park next to me and how close they parked next to me. And it's like, when I put everything on a scale, it just only made sense to me. It only made sense to me. Leave those damn things behind and embrace every trail, nook, cranny, and corner of your neighborhood, of your neck of the woods, of your environment. I've logged almost 25,000 miles of nature in the past 2.5 years that I didn't even know was here for the past 14, 15. Guys, it's not exclusive to me. So anyway, why did you get into this? I want to know. And how has it positively impacted your life? I want to know. And yeah, it probably would have been cheaper to just pick up a drug habit. But so last thing I want to touch on is this really funny thing that I observed in my mind. CD Projekt Red, the company that put out Cyberpunk 2077 and Begode, have this astounding similarity. And what it is that they both were able to drop a product or drop products that in CD Projekt Red, it was just one product. But in Begode, they drop products that are not finished. And it occurred to me as I updated my latest patch of Cyberpunk 2077 that I had only paid for Cyberpunk 2077 one time. Okay. But all of the patches and the things that come along with it, all of those things, as time has gone on, those things have actually been integrated into the game without any additional money. So anytime that they're like, oh, graphics update, that needs to look better, or a functional update that needs to run better, or something is broken inside of the game, there's a mission that I can't complete that needs to run better, they actually are able to go in there and they patch it. That's what they do with video games, and they do that with operating systems and stuff too. But with my personal copy, and I think everybody else that has, Cyberpunk 2077 has experienced the same thing. With my personal copy of Cyberpunk 2077, up to now, up to Phantom Liberty, I have been able to get all of the patches, and even afterwards, I got the 2.0 whatever patch, and I have the same experience. Now, if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 right now, you're going to get the game with all of its patches and all of its iterations currently plugged into the game. You're going to get that experience, that brand new experience. Okay? So Begode has been updating their platform. They've been updating. They did the battery case updates. They did a linkage update, a couple of them. They've done some spring updates, a couple of them. They've done some waterproofing updates. They've done some board updates. They've done all sorts of updates. I bought my Begode Master for $3,200 when it first came out. I think I had batch 2. Okay? Now, when they released batch 4, and now they've released the sport suspension with batch 4, I did not magically go out to my living room and turn on my wheel and find myself able to patch in all of the new updates. I still have the $3,200 first iteration of this thing, and it's just a little peculiar, So anyway, if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 right now, you are going to get every single patch, every single thing updated right now up to the queue. You get that game as it's meant to be played. Everybody who bought the game early still gets that experience. Everybody who bought a Begode wheel early does not get that experience. Anyway, it's just something that occurred to me when I just updated my Cyberpunk 2077 copy. So, thanks guys for sticking around. Please do like, subscribe, share, let me know what you think.